lonely I am.
Oh, you can talk to yourself about it. Oh yeah, fuck. I'm the only alien here. Frick. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
Fuck.
Oh my. Yo, who's wheezy like that, bro?
I love it. Do it again. Do it again. Bet you won't.
Whoa.
In the messages, you'll see the version and the IP. Can we live together again? We will find all of the animals again? Yes. And all the diamond armor to the pros with. Oh my god. Nina, of course I'll be your Minecraft waifu. I love you so much.
I need to color correct my screen. Bitch. I don't have a backup Pokemon, like... I wasn't ready. I was...
I like shortening the frickin' starting screen because I notice I leave it on for way too fucking long, yeah? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm just taking a moment here, recentering myself. It's really hot today for some reason. The sun does come up on my side of the apartment complex, so it gets kind of tough when it comes to that. It's not too bad. Hi Jones, welcome in. How are you doing today? Jones, do you stream?
Poggers, bitches.
Brad, huh? Yeah. How are you doing today? What you doing? Boom. Jones, you just woke up? Oh, I didn't wake up. I mean, I didn't wake up. Yeah, I'm not awake. I woke up not too long ago is what I was trying to say, so please excuse me. I'm being silly. I went to sleep so late last night. I think it was like 4:30. I want to say it was 4:30. So I may be just a little bit tired. Just a tiny wee bit. Little bit.
I'm your baby.
My baby. Yes. What were you doing until 4:30 a.m.? I was playing games with Meow. Meow and Lando were in voice call, and I was playing games with Meow, and I was cracking the fuck up. It was so fucking funny. Oh my god. It was great. It was a great time. Now that I think is also streaming, I don't know if he's joining me in my voice chat or if we're hopping into his, so I'm not quite sure what we're doing precisely. Partying with the youngins. Hey, I'm not that old. You're making me feel really old right now, Muggle. How dare you be doxing my age by making me think about it, Misa. What? We're literally age buddies. I know. I need to have a cutoff time. My cutoff time is usually on the weekends. It's usually like 2. But listen, I couldn't sleep. Okay, I couldn't sleep for reasons. And I was trying to sleep on the couch and they were still in calls, so I just like joined the call and we played Discord games. It was pretty funny. Not the raisins. Raisins? Wait, what? Reasons. Wait, what? You're a silly one. You're so silly. The plunger. It's kind of traumatizing. I want this one. I don't know if you guys can even see that. The shark's cute. There's blue on blue. Oh, I guess they are all the same, like, similar to the color they are. Wait. I like this one. And this one. Did you see the reward for like the mooncake stuff? This one, it's a golden mooncake rabbit. Hey Lando. I think you got out of the call as soon as I jumped on stream. There are so many cute characters. I may have earned it already, Moogle. Moogle. Let me pop into Namu's stream and see what the fuck he's doing. The fuck are you doing, my guy? What, Moogle? Namu is so lost. He's playing with his pee. I mean, lies of pee. Of his. Oh my god, yes. Forcing myself off because I already made 3 windmills, a solar panel, and a laser drill. My accent is not doing it for me today. Nope. Moogle. Yeah. Wait, Moogle, are you gonna make a... Are you gonna make... Wait. You're waiting in quick match. What? How the fuck do you make a laser drill? I think he's switching the game over. Wait, why are the doggies going off the screen? Look at you guys. Oh, you guys are so cute. Jones, what is on your pupper's face? It's a little wild. What did I have a command for it? I don't know if I have a command for the link. No, I think it's just on the browser. Unfortunately. I want to go back to that one song. Oh, wait. Moogle. Wait, hold on. I have to drop this thing down. There you go. Oh god, Moogle took over my stream. Oh
I
no.
did what? Oh no.
Hey guys, I'm Moogle now.
You're all in my stream now.
Oh god, no. The Moogle takeover. That's
The
actually
Moogle
kind of
takeover is real.
terrifying. That's kind of terrifying. It's no longer a kimchi stream. Is Namu coming?
Yes, he's loading his game up.
Oh my goodness. Your dripped out puppy is back? Yeah. Wait, I kind of want to make the stream avatar characters a little bigger. Hold on, I have to disconnect. Avatar settings. There's a lot to look at. Up! I'm gonna take away his powers one day.
You really should.
Yeah, I think it was just, you know, super bad idea.
Well, you love it.
What? Why would I love being jump scared by you?
Hey, you're the one who did it. I mean, you're the one who gave me that power and told me to, like, anytime I come to your VC, I should do that.
This is true, actually. Lando, you have to type
Yeah.
again. Are we doing customs or we want to do quick match?
If you want to earn your weekly challenge stuff, you have to do quick matches.
I accidentally pressed. Oh
wait.
god! I can't cancel.
Stuff.
Yeah, there are weekly challenges every week. You have 4 things you can try to do.
I want to play with, like...
I understand. Boy, do I understand. Nama, you don't understand how many games I had to play to finish the Mooncake Challenge.
And how many insanity points did you lose? for doing so?
I am entirely out of spoons. I had to
No
start
more
taking other people's
spoons?
spoons.
That's wild.
But on the plus side, I have a golden bunny.
I want the golden bunny. That's my
I'm
goal
trying to,
today.
like...
You know when you set one goal a day?
Sure.
That one was mine.
I'm
Hey
wrestling
man,
with the choice.
how are
though.
you? Also, let me make a multi-stream before me and Kimchi.
No Moogle stream?
I've been
Um,
streaming.
I
Oh.
think I'll just leave it alone. I have to bounce probably in a few hours, so
Okay.
I will instead support you guys.
I think I sent you an invite like 10 times.
Yeah, somehow it's not like... Okay, there we go.
Oh,
Sorry.
it's not working?
He just doesn't want you
Now
to
I
join.
got it.
Oh,
Now
there
I
you
got
go.
it. I don't know why it's been like that. Hey, Thomas, thank
I
you so
need
much for the
your-
lurk.
I need your help to make a decision.
What?
No. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, that settles it then.
I'm just kidding. What is it?
Nah, Kimchi made the decision for
No,
me.
no,
I
no,
won't
no,
do it.
What happened?
Nah, she made it real simple.
Don't listen to me. I just woke up.
I wish I could say that, but Mrs. Moogle woke me up at like 8:30 this morning.
Oh, jeez.
I was just like,
Damn.
oh, right, the sun.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, look at the walrus.
You're eating dinner right now, man? What you eating?
Walrus is crazy.
The walrus is pretty fun. I think he's actually in the shop right now.
In the shop, you say?
Yeah. Also, I got lucky and I got Mika in a samurai armor, Namu.
I need to get that too.
Okay. Wait, getting
Never
on
seen
party
what
animals?
the sun is either. Eat the moose. No, I gotta be the Shiba.
I
Yeah,
might
be a
make your
Shiba.
gremlin role able to just join this stream voice chat.
What?
Gremlin roll?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. I forgot how to play this game now.
Oh, Misa, please. We're on the same team.
Oh, are we? My bad.
I'm not in the same. I am not in the same
Appreciate
team as you guys.
Oh no, no, no,
Stiletsha is
no.
now following.
I got distracted by a follow.
Nice. Keep following Kimchi, people.
Oh my god, your character looks so cool.
Thanks. I have none. Oh, shit. Oh,
Ah,
oh no.
My own teammate just
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
Oh no.
get out of here. Only I am the true Shiba.
No.
LOL, sorry. No, 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 no,
Oh,
no, no,
shit.
no. Oh, who knocked me out? What a bitch. Oh, hey, not the moon cake.
Ouch.
Oh, well.
shit.
Okay. Nice. Good
Oh,
job,
shit.
Misa.
Oh, shit.
Good
Oh,
job.
shit.
Good job. Good job.
Bye,
Damn it,
everyone.
Oh, cruel world.
You know, we could
Oh my
have left
God.
if you just did not do that.
You know what?
Oh, jeez.
That's fine.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, nunchucks.
Yep.
That's not a good
Nunchuck
look.
on my nunchuck on my face.
You know what? Bye, Nana.
No!
Oh my god, oh my
That's what
god.
you
Please
get.
wake up, wake up.
What do you
Big
mean?
No, no, no,
real
no. Don't be
one.
sleeping. You're strong. You're a strong, independent
damn it.
doggo.
Independent doggo.
Oh, shit. Sketch got me. Oh, no. Wake up. Wake up.
Whee!
I'm losing to this walrus.
I got you. Wait,
Thank
we might
you.
get in each other's way. I'll let you handle it. I'll hold on to this. Oh, oh.
I got you. I got you.
Get him away from me. Get him away. Yes.
I
Wait,
will
no, that's
protect
you.
I will protect you. It's fine.
No, 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 no.
Uh-oh. It's not fine. Good luck, Misa.
Oh, yes. Yay. Look at all the mooncakes. And they go down.
Shit.
Oh, you're
I've been
alive too.
crushed.
Alright, I'll add you.
Was that
after
your
this.
mooncake, Namu?
No.
That seems awfully...
He might be a little upset with
Suspect.
me, so...
Ah.
My Moogle.
Your Moogle.
Fuck.
Oh, did you see what I did to Dave?
Oh, shit.
Ah, thank you for the follow.
Well.
I
Well.
appreciate you. Welcome to the Kimchi Crew.
Clef73 is now following.
I got
I
knocked
wish I had
out.
that hammer.
I got knocked out.
Oh, shit.
Oh god, no, 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 no. He is my enemy. Oh!
Running away.
Namu!
I'm just like running around now.
He threw himself off. Doo-doo-doo. Ah!
The dinosaur is so annoying.
Oh wait, that's
No.
my teammate. Oh shit.
Oh, he headbutted me. Oh god. Oh god.
Mine,
Oh
mine,
god.
mine,
Oh
mine,
god.
mine.
Oh, oh jeez.
Uh-huh.
Bye.
Why have you grabbed me? Why did you grab me?
No!
Ah!
Oh fuck, Namu won.
Yeah.
Namu the betrayer. Distraction
What are you
follow.
talking about? I'm not in your
Yeah.
team.
Exactly, the betrayal of you not being in the team. Do you want me to take him out or not? Please,
No,
let me know.
No, my dinosaur. My dinosaur.
Oh, oh, oh! Moogle.
Oh, I may kind of be responsible for that. I'm so sorry.
Damn, you're streaming again on the grind. Yeah, it's my normal schedule. Yesterday was modified.
Oh no, my controller died when that happened.
Yes.
My plan all along.
I need to knock people.
There
Moogle,
we
stay
go.
still. I need to knock you out.
Wait. That's actually not a bad idea. You want to farm knockouts on me?
That's
Oh, shit.
horrible. Oh my god. I missed again.
Oh,
That's
please,
a bomb.
please, please,
Oh
please,
no.
please. Oh, damn it.
Yay, Moogle. Oh, damn. That was brutal.
Boo.
Hold on, stay still, stay still. Oh fuck.
All right, that's the strategy. I throw myself into battle early.
No, 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 no,
And
no. God damn it.
You can farm knockouts.
Why?
Oh god, oh god.
Storm
Oh my
Takedown.
god, another fucking follow distraction.
God, imagine that problem.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so.
Oh wait, no.
What a
Thank you for the
deficit.
biddies.
Oh, and bits. Oh,
Oh,
really
bits.
suffering.
It's up to you, Moogle. Oh wait, let me knock you out.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
Oh, hold on. I gotta deal with this dino. He's feeling kind of.
Oh, they're after their own teammates? This is
Alright.
great.
Respect.
Why? Go after Moogle. This is what you get for not going after Moogle.
Moogle. Oh, he's gonna get after you. The music matched the animals.
He's
Wait, what do
holding
you
on
mean?
to
Hi,
me. What's the
sweet.
point?
Welcome in. Oh no.
Green got that.
Yeah.
We only need one more, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Alright.
No, Namu.
No,
Oh.
mine. My
Oh,
bomb.
shit.
My bomb.
I'm gonna.
Kamikaze!
Oh no 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 no.
Damn, where did he go?
What the?
Namu, where the hell did you go?
Somewhere.
Oh, fuck, I
over
missed
the
Moogle.
rainbow.
Alright, hang on. Uh-oh.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Yo,
wait,
I
no,
think
I'm
my
gonna
own
live.
teammate
I
left.
live. Alright,
Your
here, I'm
teammate
gonna go
left.
stand over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
I
Yeah, that
couldn't
was a
possibly
B-Suite.
miss.
So I just
Oh,
saw
shit.
another streamer and they're playing
Hold up.
Eliza P for the first time. Ooh, who's the streamer?
Oh, shit. That's a problem. Hold on, it's too busy. What? Oh, they're... I'm not gonna say that
Black
sentence out loud.
Swan. Steve, can you give a shout out for B-Suite?
Yes,
thank
I
you.
have one. I got one.
Oh, shit.
Hello, Lando.
Oh, I'm dead. Good.
Hello.
Oh, no,
Oh
you're
my
alive.
god. That was so close.
Wait,
My knees!
My knife!
Kick broke my knees! Oh, nice.
Somebody broke your knees? Oh, who's the better dog? Oh, oh, oh.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
oh, oh.
Oh, good knockout.
Oh, no.
Let's go team Misa Moogle. Kimchi Moogle? Ooh, Kimchi Moogle.
Kimchi Moogle. Wake up! No!
Why not Kim Chudo?
Okay. That sounds very bizarre.
Bye.
We wins!
We did it!
Wow, I got an achievement. I have a friend, bro.
Yeah, damn. Just beat up Moogle.
I've been plastered against this wall.
Oh wait, wait, wait.
might
I was
miss.
supposed to press finish game. Oh, wait,
Wait,
I'm gonna get Lando in here.
do we actually?
Bet.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have to. I don't have
Sickly,
to
I
press
didn't even
anything.
do anything.
Chaotic pick. Yep.
The
Daijoubu.
Gwemon
Woo,
Rose
level up.
Moon. Wheel Gwemon.
Throw mooncake and not. Oh, so that's the weekly. Okay.
Thank you for
well,
the hydrate.
I got my monkey business to get to, people.
Oh yeah, you have the business suit, right?
Mm-hmm. Gotta make things quick. Got monkey business to get to.
Oh wait, Mika, I think I'm. Can I invite more friends?
I
Probably.
think at that point it's custom, but you can try.
No, I think it's full, Mika. Yeah. I only need 5 more for the mooncakes. So, I'll make it quick.
I will
I'll make a
sacrifice
choose
myself
here.
for your mooncakes.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. We'll do like 2 more throw mooncake because it refreshes in 22 hours. Yeah.
Oh, none of these are good for mooncakes.
We will put together our own teams and
The
fight
bridge
today.
is beautiful for mooncakes. What do you mean?
It is, actually.
No, Lando, you just like.
I may just like the bridge. Yeah, maybe a little biased, but you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ichiban is definitely the best one for mooncakes.
So sweet. This is the game that I was telling you we should play. It's so funny. We should
Yeah,
definitely
look
play
at me. I'm beautiful.
Flex a little.
it.
Yeah,
I
Holly's
can't
Showing-
got
even
the
look
skin
at-
that I'm
I
on the
can't even
fence
look at Lando
about.
right now.
Which one?
The
Oh.
RGB bunny.
Are you gonna get it?
I have the cookies for it. I just don't know if I want to spend it because I already have these bunny skins.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
you'll be.
Moogle. It's pretty.
Well, yeah, but will I get another different kind of pretty? Because
Oh,
I've
but
got
you
bunny
get
skins
like
set up.
you get like plus 10 charisma for having RGB stuff, you know?
I've already maxed out charisma. Are you kidding me?
There's me out here. Come out here. Ah, I walked off the edge.
You forget how
you
to
didn't
play.
walk off the edge. I shoved
Yes. Oh, did you take me down with you?
Oh yeah.
let the black cat do his thing, Moogle. I'm just saying. Let him do his thing.
Jelly,
I'm taking a
hi.
nap.
It's been
I'm
a
taking
while.
a nap.
How's it going? How are you doing, Jelly?
Oh,
Oh my
my,
God.
goodness.
Moogle, that was totally you, wasn't it?
Oh no! Oh my God!
Oh!
Wow, you actually let go.
Oh my god.
No, I
Come here,
tried, but
bunny.
it didn't happen.
I want this to go to a final stand where they're all hanging on the wall. Those are free knockouts right there.
This is. My the
So
job's
you're in a bad
nosy.
way.
Gotcha. No, it's all.
No, stay
Jelly,
on
it's
that
all
side of the
good.
rope.
Love-
It's safer,
love
trust
to
me.
see you again.
Oh.
And I knocked off
So
Kimchi.
safe.
No!
Oh my god. Who
I
the
know
fuck
work
is
stuff,
using
I've
my...
been doing good. That's good. I'm glad that you're
He's
doing
holding
well.
on to your
and
The
toes.
shadow pulled you
And
through.
also,
He's got
can we
your
have
toes!
can we have a
Not
shout out
my
for Jelly
toesy
Melly here?
woesies.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
actually
win
have your
this one.
toes.
Oh
Wow.
my god,
You
one.
won!
Someone's giving
God,
the
you were
cookies.
getting barraged.
Oh boy.
Lisa, I'd like to have you know I would normally knock you out.
Nah,
but
but
you
we're
were
on the same
really
team.
spot.
Oh, we are? Why are we in the same team?
Because Misa's a traitor. She's with Lando, and I kicked you in the face. I'm sorry.
Sounds like Moogle's the traitor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not even.
Oh,
You're
Oh, dog pile!
Oh,
But
I
I'm a
pulled you out of the
bunny.
dog pile accidentally.
Get over here. God damn it.
I forgot I had... Oh, no,
Oh shit.
To the
I'm
bomb.
outta
To
here.
the bomb.
I'm
no,
outta
no!
here.
Oh
To the bomb.
I got you.
Thank you. I'm just gonna play dead here.
Yep.
over here, you
All
stupid
right.
No, no, no,
RGB
no.
late. Get over here, you stupid RGB late.
I'm dead.
Get out of here.
Yes.
Oh, Kimchi.
Yes.
My God.
Eat the spinach.
I didn't do
I think Misa
anything.
may have forgotten her goal.
Honestly, yeah. Hold on. Let me go fix
Oh,
that.
God.
1 second.
Oh god.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
god. Oh god.
Oh, what the
Oh
frick?
god.
All right, Misa, I'm hanging on. Free hits.
Okay.
You know, I like
Which
it right
bunny's you?
Ow.
Oh shit! I was
Oh,
on
hold on.
banana. Fuck
I
my
just
life.
got clocked over the back of the head. That was
Yep.
not good.
I mean, I think they're all after you, so I'm gonna go for the other bunny. Oh fuck! I missed.
No, I was specifically aiming for Moogle.
Oh,
There we go.
that wasn't me.
Oh,
That
god
wasn't
damn it.
me either.
How am I supposed to help you if those advantages aren't taken advantage of?
Oh my god, I missed.
Yeah, I got him.
Oh
dang
jeez.
it.
Mika, it's gonna take a longer time because of Lando.
You're welcome.
Oh shit, we started already. Yeah. So
Yep.
my hands aren't on the keyboard.
It sounds like a skill shoot.
Excuse me. I was.
Ouch.
Mhm.
Hello.
Let me take this out.
Ah!
Yo, let me take it out.
Ah!
I'm trying to just.
Get out of here, you stupid. Uh-oh.
Yeah, you can have that.
No, not me.
Moogle.
No.
That was beautiful.
What are you doing?
Uh,
Get you. Screw you.
Oh shit.
Damn.
No. No.
What a swing.
Yeah, early stream and a
Oh.
weekend stream for me, Richie.
You
How's it going?
You're
I
screaming no.
simultaneously try and save you
Oh.
and
Oh
also
my god.
kill you.
Oh, nope,
Don't worry
I'm
about
dead.
it.
We versus Kimchi.
This is
Love you,
This-
Mika.
this is a huge like
No.
I got you. I'm trying.
It's just shoving me
quite
against
cold
the road.
and bored
So good.
today. Yeah, sorry to hear that you're being bored, but yeah, it is getting more cold.
How am I
now.
missing all of these? Oh.
Lando,
Lando.
Lando.
I think I need to unbind
We
my
need
breath.
to talk about your
Eccentricism.
well.
Ow, Moogle, why? I have monkey business.
Oh no.
Damn.
Oh my goodness, I just saw 8 bodies fall as I died.
I've been doing good, Richie. We're playing Party Animals. Have you played this game before?
Say no even if you have. That's how you do.
Oh shit.
Take it out of anything. Oh, I messed with
Oh
my
my
cookie.
god.
Hold on.
No. Let.
Bye, kitty.
Oh,
Let
wait.
go. Let go.
Yeah, I did let
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
No, come
I'll go over
on. I
here.
need to throw
I cheated.
cookies.
It is kind of like Gang Beasts, but in my opinion, a lot better.
Yeah, because you can see your stamina.
Oh my god, I'm gonna
Nah, I think
fall.
I like
Shit,
it
I
a
can't
little.
even see you right now.
I'm taking a nap.
I
Good
don't know
night.
what-
Oh, thank
I
you.
protected you.
Oh, sorry.
Ow,
I'm
going
sorry.
around.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
No,
you didn't even
no,
save me.
Bye, Lando.
I
Okay,
couldn't.
got-
I couldn't.
Take her. Take her.
Betrayal.
Okay.
Or what for?
I would never betray you.
You
Get him
headbutted
out!
me and then
Get him
failed to
out!
save me. That,
Get
no,
him
that is-
out!
that is
Get him
betrayal.
out!
Moogle, stay still.
Oh my god.
Oh my
It's
god,
2
Moogle, you moved.
It's almost 2 p.m. in the morning, and I'm not in the morning. in
Which is the
afternoon.
better bunny?
Yeah, 2 p.m. in the morning.
Uh-oh.
In the morning.
Uh-oh.
No!
It's 2 p.m. in the morning, guys.
No. That's some
Jones, are you in and out
bull.
of sleep right now?
Me?
No,
Oh, I
Jones.
just got hit by grandma.
Oh
Grandma?
shit.
My
Grandma
stomach.
got
Yeah,
ran
right.
over by a reindeer. Can I eat this?
No, you already ate it.
No.
Oh fuck.
Wait, you
You
want
know
the
what?
leftovers?
Just toss me. Just toss me. It's fine.
Got this.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding.
Minute.
Oh fuck. Oh.
I refuse. My partner. We're going
Oh,
together.
oh,
oh, God.
Tell
I
me, was
just
that worth
RKO'd.
it?
Yeah, I RKO'd you.
Such a good game.
Except
got
Misa
RKO'd,
died
that's
too.
real.
Namu,
Yeah.
stay still.
That was
no.
my fault.
No! Oh my! Whoa! Whoa!
I saved it the first time. I kept third place.
Damn it. I threw my fucking. Oh my god.
He's RKOing him.
I hate it here. I've only gotten one mooncake.
Well, that might be because you've forgotten your mission.
Oh
you won
my
twice
god.
first. Oh, I have a
Fucking
friend, guys.
crazy.
Ow, my head.
Hey Gary, I've been getting that comment a lot, but I am gonna. Can someone ban Gatorade from the chat, please?
I got you.
Thank you.
Mika, type something. I am very important and I deserve a badge to
And if
signify
you're wondering why
it.
Gatorades, that I get that comment a lot, and that's usually a kind of like a racist kind of thing. So, not gonna have it around here. And thank you, Muggle.
Look at your badge.
And
It's
if
so
you want to
pretty.
join in, you can give me the unbanned request. Otherwise, you can get the out of here.
There's another gorilla. He's on his way to business.
It's an
too.
awfully specific comment for a person to make as a first chat.
Right.
Wait, I want to put on glasses too. Hold on, let me see. Do I have another one with glasses? I do.
Oh shit. It's mine.
Putting on the cool shades. I think
Why
I'm
is
supposed to be a
mom-
part of the Secret Service because I have like the ear thing, but I prefer monkey business. Thank you.
There we go.
They just knock out instantly. Well, whatever they are.
My
Monkeys
10
can't swim.
second.
Gotta go.
Work on writing. Yeah, do what you gotta do, Jones. Love you too.
Ah! Oh, forget him.
Oh shit.
No, I think I want this. Yeah, thank you.
Greg?
Namu's back.
I am
Oh,
back.
shit.
Ow! No! Monkeys can't swim!
What's the aim of the game?
Live.
Beat up
Party
everyone.
animal.
Live. The
We're a
aim of the
party
game is to
animals.
live.
That's the aim of the game.
Do your parties normally end in an all-out brawl? He's got spinach!
Namu!
What?
Oh, we just...
Ouch.
Did we-
Wait,
no.
did you just kick me? Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Yep, yep. Aha!
I'm dead. I'm very much dead.
Don't die.
No, I
please.
drown.
I'm trying to get up.
Monkeys can't swim. It's a
Why
well-known
can I
fact.
not get up? There we go. Why is Gary banned? Because just making some kind of like racist remark
I
on
fell.
the,
I'm sorry.
on the chat.
What I like to do here is suck a banana.
Oh, Misa, you took me with you. Why?
Yes.
It was worth
Was
it.
it worth it?
Yes.
This is the perfect one to farm the mooncakes on, actually. It's a really small area.
I'm just punching the. I can't get out. Oh.
It's okay,
Oh,
Namu.
God. Okay.
I got
okay.
you.
Okay.
I got you.
Monkeys can't swim. If you get him in the water, he'll die.
Ah!
There we go. He's free.
Well-known fact.
Ah! Ah!
Live, Namu, live.
He's still
Ah!
there! He's alive!
How is he still alive?
Oh no.
Oh shit.
Yeah!
I got him,
Oh,
Namu!
Being a pole dancer there? What?
That's not the only time he's done that.
Apparently- Yeah, it's not the only time.
It's like his job now.
Is that
He-
your alternate career option?
He says DoorDash, but what he really means.
He's dashing to doors is what he's doing.
Oh, Lando!
You shouldn't have been in front of me. It was your fault. I saved. Ow! My face!
I'm grabbing you.
Ouch.
There can only be one reptile-looking thing here. Get out of here.
Reptile? What the?
Is a dinosaur.
Oh, I was so confused.
Oh,
here.
Worse.
Lando, why'd you hit me too?
That's not me. That's
Oh.
Amasak.
Watch out for the missile.
Oh, I got a
No.
plunger.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't realize that was you.
Oh, that's you.
Really, really?
Yeah.
Actually,
Because I'm
knew
not a
Elf would be
puppy?
Shiba. Ah!
Ah, I got
You
my
dead because of
target.
that?
Plunged him in the head.
Did I kill you, Kimchi?
Yeah, I'm dead.
I'm so sorry.
Are you? You don't sound very sorry. If you were sorry, you would stay still.
I can't do that because I'll die.
Oh no! Get
Oh,
that out of
no.
here!
Yeah, yeah, Namu just stay right there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Oh no 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 no!
I'll cover
Get out
you.
of
I'll
here!
cover
Get
you.
out of here! Get out of here! Ah!
Climb with the monkey, climb.
No!
Monkeys are good at that. Unknown fact.
Leave me alone! Ah!
Stay away from me. Stay away. Stay away. Stay away. Stay away. Stay away. Stay away from me.
Oh
I'm busy.
gosh.
I have monkey business to do here, sir. Stay away. I'm gonna beat you to death.
What kind of monkey business?
So you see, I work in an accounting company, right?
Uh-huh. Moogle, no! Moogle, climb!
I can't let him get away with monkey business jokes.
Oh shit! I got
I
this.
thought that was my job. You know, I thought that was the monkey business.
What?
you
That
know?
didn't
boy.
knock you out? Come on, dude. It takes so long to get a fucking
Bye.
mooncake.
Nah, move.
No.
Good
I
luck.
got this.
No!
No, Moogle!
Good
Lando.
luck.
Why?
Swing, swing, swing.
Yes! Yes!
Breathe for air. Stop putting your butt
Oh,
into your head
shit,
out.
you got me.
Get air, you idiot.
Yay!
Oh,
Yay!
Apparently, the girl's butt is very buoyant.
Jesus Christ, Lando.
Oh my god.
Running. I'm going away.
So,
No,
Namu, I was actually
Lando, come back.
Extended warranty.
Wait, I can't hear what you're saying.
He said he's calling about extending your warranty on your car.
Ouch.
That's the business he has as a monkey.
No, what, you think it was intelligent? No, I'm a monkey.
Shit.
Hi,
Oh,
Moogle.
Namu just got the
Have
propeller
the
treatment.
headbutt.
Hello, pineapple head.
I
Hey.
pulled a Lando.
Very true.
2 for 2.
That's crazy. How about
Shit.
3 for 3?
No!
Good luck with the
Fire.
mooncakes. Uh-oh.
Oh, good grab, good grab.
Oh!
No, I'm trying to help,
no.
I promise. Mooncakes. You need them.
No!
I had an excuse for killing you.
Imagine having an excuse to kill.
Go, Moogle, go.
I got one. Oh
Go,
gosh.
Moogle, go.
I'm working on it.
So the trick is to hit the pole dancer.
Oh, that was brutal.
Alright, nail the monkey.
Look at him play his little leg.
The coins go so slow.
You gotta kick, move.
Oh.
Kick.
Oh,
or
God.
headbutt.
Oh!
Uh-oh. Hold
You
up.
got this, you got this, you got this.
Oh
you
no,
got
I
this.
missed.
I missed too.
I hate how they just slowly drift off camera. There's nothing you can do about it.
We can't even see them anymore. They're
Whoa.
just so far away.
Yeah!
Moogle on that one?
Yeah.
I forget how to kick.
Ah, shit.
Oh, this
I
button.
don't know.
Jump and then
Yeah.
A.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Moogle.
A plunger.
Not the plunger.
Uh-oh.
What do you think you're doing?
Oh shit.
Troubadour.
I told you to
For
die.
all the
and I
times
hold to that
You
true to that
told
statement.
me.
What is this?
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Mooncakes.
You killed me last time after I called about your car's extended warranty. You get to die
Oh.
now.
I
Boy.
don't want the car extended warranty. Leave me
Oh my
alone.
god, Moogle, this is brutal.
Leave me alone.
My jawline.
Leave me alone.
I think I want to take the missile, you know?
I
Need form of
cannot be
transportation.
downed.
Oh, nobody saw what happened to that cat.
Oh.
No, no.
No, 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 no. Oh my god.
Ow! I'm taking a nap. Hey, I told you to die 4 times now. Go away.
Oh, no, no. Oh, no, no.
Hey, Lando.
Hi. I didn't mean to pull you down.
Pull my leg.
Oh, I'm trying to get up. Oh no, 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 no! I can't do this. No, I'm. Oh, hi,
Sorry,
Google.
Ben. No, it's you.
Hi,
You
buddy.
go.
Oh,
Bye,
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah.
No.
Headbutt,
Not
headbutt,
like
headbutt the
this.
kitty.
Shoving me in a corner.
No.
Ow! There's a kitty here. His name's Schwaston. Why aren't you using me as a step stool?
Thanks for the boost.
in the air.
I'm an
I see him.
alligator. I can swim.
I'm a monkey. I cannot help.
Wait, I have a mooncake. Why am I not swimming like an alligator?
The secret is it's salt water.
Oh.
Oh,
That's
Lando.
the point. Oh no.
It was worth it. I got Namu. No, I went to the missile container.
I get it. I
died.
get it. Mooncakes.
That's what you
yes.
get, Lando.
So I just
I'm just trying to
spontaneously
be helpful,
combusted.
Misa.
I'm so scared. Don't come near me.
Oh, what? That didn't knock you out. That's so funny.
Oh fuck.
Oh shit.
I'm just gonna stay here.
Okay.
Never mind.
Mhm.
Come here, Schwatson. You got in my way the last time.
Oh,
Nobody saw
that was
that.
worse than any draw kick I've done.
Nobody saw that.
Oh,
Shh,
God.
Lando,
It's
shh.
alright. There, I took care of the dinosaur.
That is not at all where I threw my cookie. Oh, I'm kidding.
I saw that.
Oh no!
I'm rooting for him. Man's got the same suit on. He must work at the same company.
Oh god.
Mm.
Moogle, I think my monkey friend here was trying to ask you about your car's extended warranty. Oh no! No! Kimchi, no!
Oh shit.
Leave him alone, I'm rooting for him here!
I'm tired of these knocks on the door and phone calls.
Alright, now it's just us.
Yeah.
Kimchi, fire away.
Yep.
Oh fuck! How
Well,
did
not
that?
towards me.
How did that not hit you? Oh my god! I don't have mooncakes.
The aim is so bad.
Come on, these are free shots.
I know, but it's taking so long for the coins to populate.
The cat's gonna die.
How did that not knock you out? I'm so mad right now, Moogle. You have no idea. How did that not knock you the fuck out?
That one dead.
That was brutal. Hold on, Moogle.
Google!
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes.
Never let go, Jack. Never let
That man
go.
slow.
Never let go, Jack.
Wait, what the? Wait, I thought I was the monkey in the middle. It turns out I was the monkey on the right side.
Oh,
Oh no, what the fuck?
Hey!
It's just you guys.
You uppercutted me out of the picture. How
why
are
do we
you?
look like we're being arrested?
Wait, let me see how many more I
Hey,
need.
blacksmith, how's it going? How's your
Well, I'm
blacksmithing
good. I'm
stuff?
good. We can do custom game. Do you guys want to still do throw moon cakes or?
Doesn't matter.
No, I'm
I'm
good.
just here. I'm just.
Okay. We'll do
Yeah,
custom.
I've already done it.
Well, I just need to do one more, but like it doesn't matter for me.
Okay.
Damn, Namu's nailing those mooncakes if he's already almost done.
Oh, I need 2 more.
Need one more mooncake. Wait, what?
You are the team leader now.
Not anymore.
Wait.
I left that shit.
None of us wanted to play with Lando,
Do the team
obviously.
games.
Yeah, we're doing team games.
What do you mean? I didn't ask my teammate about the car's extended
Oh,
warranty.
there's a way to make it like free for all. I just don't remember how.
Oh boy, hold on. I actually saw it too after I complained that it wasn't possible. Great. Last
Hey, try and get that side.
It was gonna be on
I'm gonna-
Mogul's team.
just test something. Hold on.
Us v Nuru, we got this. He's clearly the best doer.
3v1 Moogle?
Settings. You know
Mm,
what?
think you could do this in
That just
3v1?
feels fair, obviously. Oh, okay. So if you go into lobby settings, you can change how many teams are in last stand. So it's 2, 4, or 8 teams. And at 8 teams, it'd be free for all.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we're doing team games.
Yeah, we're playing team games though.
Okay, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, which is why we're doing 3v1.
I can make the HP 1% light. Stamina
Just
50%.
instant knocked out. I.
Wait,
not
do you
know the
guys want to play
password.
instant knockout?
Oh shit.
Do the play.
Yes, and turn friendly fire on, please.
Misa,
Wait, hold
how do
on.
I get in?
Let me add you. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
It's Misa's game, not Kimchi's game. That's what you probably searching Kimchi's game.
There's so many buttons. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out which one's the right one to press.
So you see, it's that one, then that one.
Thank you for the
so
lurk, Steve.
descriptive.
All right,
Well,
I
you got this right?
understand what I must do.
Really? Are you sure, Namu?
Not
What?
in Lollipop Factory. Are you kidding me?
Here, I'll ask them about their car's extended warranty. Let's go.
Heal, heal, bang, bang. How's it going? Thank you for giving me Jasmine. How you
No.
doing, Joey?
I hate
Alright,
this one.
so Moogle, I'm going for the big
Do
one.
what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Bang,
Namu,
bang.
Namu.
What?
We need
what?
to strategize.
Okay.
And by that they mean they're just gonna
Uh,
attack me.
Heal, pray, hope we win.
When you started with Neil, I wasn't sure where you were going.
Well, see, that's your tell Moogle his time has come. He must be sacrificed. You are totally right.
God damn it. Is that Joey?
Yes, that's Joey.
God damn it, Joey. The blood god does not take the sacrifice lightly. Indeed.
Go, go.
Oh, sorry. My
Speed
mom
run, speed
texts
run.
me.
Not your mother.
This is
Mother.
mine. Come with me. Nope, come with me.
No,
Nope.
Mother?
Come with me. Kill him. Kill him,
Mine.
Moogle.
Ow, come on. What the frick?
Get out of here.
Dude, I just
Did I kill you?
Oh
Oh my god.
You freaking disintegrated
Oh,
me,
I'm
man.
dead. I'm dead. Moogle, carry it to the end. Got it by its head. It's easier to carry if you got it by its leg or head.
I forgot it's instant death.
It is
Ah,
instant
shit.
death.
Oh,
It's
Moogle, go.
it's instant death.
Oh my
I
god, look
can't
at
even get out because I'm laughing.
I thought you said it was instant knockout, not instant death. Let's go.
Alright.
oh, well, and you know some names were thrown around and Moogle's name came up. Oh shit.
Pull,
No,
pull.
get it.
Okay, I'll
Hold
pull it,
on,
I'll pull it, I'll
hold
pull
on.
it. I got it, I got it, go!
Go get some easy gummies. Go get some easy gummies.
Namu, we're gonna
Give him a
lose.
good yeet.
Yeah, it's already given. It's already given.
No, come on, we gotta get the big gummy. Come on, get the big
Alright,
gummy.
Get big one.
Yeah, you get the gummy. I kill Lando.
What about Moogle? Gotta kill Moogle too. There you go. No.
Oh, I
Oh
got
my-
killed. It's up to you. Oh
Ah!
fuck! Moogle got
Moogle,
hit.
go.
Maybe we should have been just Moogle
Them
alone.
samurai hands are E for everyone. Let's go.
Sacrifice. Dude, Joey demands a sacrifice.
No.
Come over here.
No.
I don't wanna, I
Mine.
don't wanna. I don't wanna.
It's mine.
Leave me alone.
Get
What?
here, woman.
No.
Get here.
Oh, Namu, no!
Oh.
Namu! Oh,
Yes.
fuck.
That's
Here we
right. You thought it would be that easy, huh?
Oh my god.
Damn, we have
Moogle
like
must be
nothing.
sacrificed.
Go for small gummies. We can win that way.
Oh, nope, I'm out. That's my first death.
Well,
Oh my god, Namu.
Ooh,
Wait, what do you mean your
Namu
first
is
death?
brave. So apparently that knockout earlier didn't kill me.
it didn't?
Yeah, no, I woke up. That's how I came swinging.
Watch your back, Namu.
You can't kill a heavily armored samurai.
Oh, come on.
This is gonna be mine. Thank
All right,
you.
Lando, let's go.
Oh, save me, Moogle.
Oh
thank
my
you.
god, Moogle.
Yeah, we already lost this one.
Buddy,
Please
sideways.
see.
Sideways.
See.
Buddy,
The
geometry.
won't fit in the square hole.
Geometry.
No.
Pivot! 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 Pivot!
Heads up, you got Misa coming too.
Ow, I'm
Oh,
dead.
no.
No,
Are you
Moogle's here,
putting a
Moogle's here,
lever?
Moogle's here.
Ow!
Oh, fuck, 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 fuck.
Damn right I am.
Yes.
Oh,
No, Lando's back.
Alright, Lando,
Go,
you
go,
got
go,
Lando's
this.
back. I'm trying. Help, help, help,
Mine.
help,
Mine.
help.
Nope,
I'm
mine.
coming, I'm coming, I'm coming,
Oh
I'm
my
coming.
god, oh my god. Eee.
I'm coming, 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 I'm
Namu.
coming, I'm coming.
Namu Moogle's
Namu.
here too. Where the
Ah!
Get him! Get him, Moogle!
Ah, shit!
Let's go! W's!
Damn.
Moogle, help.
Oh,
Wrong
wait, this way or that way? There we go.
No.
Minorly failed to pull that. Oh!
Come here, Namu.
We barely made it, dude. Yeah, huggies,
And that was for
huggies,
Joey. He wanted the blood god. No!
huggies, huggies.
I don't want your huggies!
Immediately just punched Misa.
Kimchi, I think you blinked in the photo.
Shit, this one.
Yeah?
I think you blinked. I don't know.
Did Moogle just punched a puppy? He did.
He's throwing hands with
sacrifice.
multiple.
A poe? A poe? A puppy.
Yeah,
A
probably.
puppy? A puppy plus a Joey?
I was just channeling my desire
Moogle,
to
go throw
sacrifice
hands.
Joey.
No, I got this. You go really strong.
You got this?
He's
Alright,
very
hold
cool.
on, hold on, hold on. I'm gonna
You know, once I get
at least
unstuck from the
deploy
cold.
one.
Oh! Don't go next to
Full
the
steam
fire,
ahead.
Namu.
Oh right, the fire instinct.
No,
is-
duh.
Oh!
Oh,
No!
never mind.
Go cook some.
Alright.
Go cook some puppy. Go cook some puppy.
Wait until
Hey!
his community hears about this.
Oh
it's
my
been
god,
hard.
I got hit by the sign. I tried jumping across and I lost to a sign.
Hey, we got a taser now. Ah, there's a Namu.
There's a Namu. I have become a noun.
There's a tree.
All right.
So,
Ah!
he's cooked. He's literally cooked.
Oh my
Both
god,
figuratively
please,
Let's
little
go, what you gotta
puppy.
do.
Figuratively and
Do
literally.
what you gotta do. Do what you
Did
gotta
you fail
do.
to jump again, Moogle?
I made it across, but I went too far.
You jumped too
It's alright.
far.
Namu's behind you, by the way.
Ow, he cooked himself.
Namu!
I think Namus are new fuel, please and thank you.
Yeah, Namu should count as fuel at that point. Oh my god, I burned
What do
myself
you
to death.
mean?
This
Wow, I just cannot catch a break.
1% health is so fucking funny.
Throw our coal off the edge, you bastard.
Alright. No more screwing around, I guess.
Oh,
Hey,
There's a
Misa, guess what I
Namu.
have?
hold the break.
Alright, I didn't realize the plunger was that scary.
Yeah, it really is.
Kimchi, gam.
No,
It would be so funny if you went into the fire.
I was very
Oh
careful
my
about that, but
God.
I was calculated.
I can't defeat Moogle.
Oh, that breaks, Moogle. Keep us eating.
I'm working on it. Take out Namu.
Nah, you see, so I'm failing miserably at that.
Hmm. I wonder.
How in the hell? How do you still have stamina? What the?
What the hell?
We're so derpy.
I ran out of energy. Please tell me you've taken care of Namu. How is he not dead?
So you see, there was a minor issue with skill.
Minor issue. A minor issue.
With skill.
Oh my
Sir,
god, I
you are
can't
the
throw this
minor, so
coal.
be the issue.
Oh my
Ah,
god.
shit.
Yeah, thank you, Moogle. Nah, I'm gonna go over there now. I got this.
No, I got it.
We just both go over. It's fine.
What the hell?
Oh.
I gotta go.
Alright, hi Lando. Misa is still coming to you.
Die.
Ah, shit.
Oh my god, I ended up in the fire. I touched it and I died.
I forgot you can dodge roll.
Jesus Christ.
No, my kryptonite's here.
Kryptonite.
Thank you,
Why are
Namu.
you so weak to Namu?
So
Is
we
it
just switch our
perfect?
face cam to animated one? I have a lot of chores to do in one day.
Well, I would suggest, Moogle, you go over there and you better at killing them.
went
Alright,
over.
alright. I will go over there.
I used to take a lot of time to like get ready for stream and do makeup and like all these fun
Oh
things.
my god, you pushed me in!
But
Your turn.
but I have like
I
so
would
much
prefer if it was you.
chores to do in a
Yeah!
day.
I beat my kryptonite. Let's go. I'm the new Superman.
We gotta challenge our demons. Sometimes our demons sound like Namu.
Very much. You're not wrong.
So it's just easier. Like right now I'm in my pajamas and I have my hair up and everything, so
Ow.
Yeah, here.
Hey, guess what?
oh fuck. I didn't die to that.
I died too. Fuck.
You pulled a Lando.
Mm-hmm.
A Lando pulled a Lando.
I'm pretty good at that. My game froze for a second, and all I saw was Moogle's butt.
I'm sorry.
Yay! Into the fire!
Wow, that's horrifying.
So you see, Moogle, there was a minor skill issue.
A minor skill issue.
Ow! Am I just your stepping stone? No, on your pillow, sorry.
What's
this will be
coins.
interesting.
Oh
I've never played
god.
this one.
With instant
You
knockout,
party
this will
animals
be
This is
interesting.
gonna be so rough.
Are we supposed to like get coins? Oh,
You have to
This-
grab the arcade, and then
I think it's easy.
you'll control the character inside.
You're good at killing. I'll control.
I'm good
I
at
got
killing,
you.
he says.
Yeah, go kill him.
Ouch.
Can I beat you in here too? Can I beat you in here? I don't think we can. Ow!
I'm
You
sorry.
cheated!
I'm already
killed me
dead.
while
You
I was
didn't even have
playing
to
the
throw
game.
me.
Wait. Does it
Yeah, it's
count?
right
Wait. Go, Misa, go. Go, Misa, go.
Ow! I got so many coins too. Hey, guess
Oh,
what?
they
I'm still
are
alive. I got
getting
this
a bunch
one.
of coins. Wait, oh fuck. Namu, guard my body.
Right, I'm trying. I'm dead.
Oh, I see.
Get off of the game, you idiot! How do I get off the game? I have no clue.
I think you
We'll get him.
same as letting go of any
Oh, wait, don't give me
Wait.
to the.
But like you don't control it. I got it, Moogle. Go get him.
Ah,
I'm really good at this catch 'em game, you know.
respect. Oop, 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 oop. He's coming for you.
I can't do anything. I'm stuck on the game. I have no clue how to get off of it.
Oh,
I just kind of
it's
died,
alright.
you
We
know.
just
I got
about got it.
Ew!
Oh, come
da- da-
on.
da- da-
I didn't even touch anything.
you should have played the game, Namu. We should have switched.
Namu, you need to chuck our character into bombs. Oh, it's hug time. Hug time.
What? You're
Ah!
why am I hidden?
Hi. Strawberry, thank you so much for the biddies.
It's just
that's pretty
three
good.
bodies on the floor, and then Namu just like, what happened?
Hi. Strawberry, how are you? Can we have a shout for Strawberry? Take the
Sure.
balloon safe back.
Oh, I
Face
got
to
this.
earn
I've done
points.
this like so many times while everyone was AFK. I got
That was
this.
new for me. How are you and Blueberry doing, Strawberry?
And Kimchi knows that to be very true.
Hey, I still call
Yo,
BS
Ballsy,
on
thank
the
you so
last
much
time
for
we
the
played this.
sub. How are you doing, Ballsy?
All
That
right.
balloon so much as like sniffed the air
Wait,
near
so
your
what were we
space,
supposed
and it
to
was
do
like,
here?
oh, okay.
Oh my
I got it, Moogle, I got it.
Oh, I missed.
Oh, be free! Be free!
I forgot it's one
really
hit
hard to keep
KO
your toes
too.
on the ground. Ow, I'm dead. Just execute me.
heck?
Why don't you? What the f-
Oh fuck! I was dragging.
You're dragging my dead body, thank you.
Oh, Moogle.
Get in the
We're
blue
doing
area.
good. Glad to hear that. Say hello to Blueberry
What
Farm.
am
Oh,
I grabbing?
did I
I
just
got
knock
it.
myself out?
I got it. Go right here and let go. Let go, let go, let go. Wait, that's a point.
I don't understand. Last time I played this, we did that, and we didn't get shit.
Because I grabbed it
You
and
guys
stopped
still
it.
Oh,
dragged it
come on.
away.
Sorry,
Did you
Namu.
seriously knock yourself
Die
out
from
again?
that.
I don't know.
Oh
I don't know what happened.
I joined the
Oh,
wrong
yeah. Go, Misa, go, Misa.
Grab my body. Grab my body. No.
Alright. Oh, shit. Hope you feel better, Ballsy.
You don't have to
Wait,
jump.
how do
Why-
you...
How do you guys have such a big issue with grabbing it?
I don't know. No! Ow!
Oh no!
Oh, come on. What?
Wow, Misa
Why are you
got
still
up.
alive? You're cheating.
Come on, go, Misa, go, Misa. Come on, Misa.
Yeah,
Both
I'm
over
I got
here.
it. I got it. I got it.
Run.
Go,
No.
go, 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 go.
Grab it.
They don't know what they're doing. It's fine. They copied us. They're cheating.
What?
It's up to you. It's up to you. Oh fuck.
Yes.
You got this. You got this.
yeah,
You got this.
no,
Wait.
no.
No.
I got stuck under, and then that happened. Shit. Oh, come on.
Hmm?
That's a care of half the equation.
No, you didn't.
Okay. Up.
Go, 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 go.
Why do you want me to lose my glasses right now?
Oh, why would
That's
you do
actually insane.
this? Oh, boy.
I'm gonna stay over here.
No, I got it too.
Hey, Space Kitty, how's it going?
We're
Lando!
going over here.
Lando, no!
Yeah!
Oh, fuck.
Jesus.
We're going down. We're going down.
Oh,
We're going down.
But
Namu, you
sugar,
got
you
this?
going down
How do you
swinging.
still have stamina? What the fuck?
Oh my god. Alright, I don't have glasses, so this is
How
great.
did you still have stamina? I ran out in like 3 seconds.
What the hell?
Oh fuck, I'm pressing the wrong buttons. It's because I don't have my fucking glasses on. Oh,
Why?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh shit.
How did Misa survive that twice?
I protected
I'm
you.
just that buff. I'm just that buff. I'm so sorry, Namu. My bad.
Nice work, Lando. Let's go.
Whoever took Misa's glasses away, go f yourself.
It was ballsy. It was ballsy. I don't know what I'm doing.
Goddamn
I
it,
can
ballsy.
barely see. Trust my instinct. Oh my god.
Bossy say trust your instinct.
Oh god.
Ah!
Oh god. I almost hit you again, Namu.
No!
Okay,
Why?
go, Namu, go. Go,
I'm
Namu, go.
trying. I can't
Okay.
see. I can't see.
You can't see, really?
No, because of
Damn, we
of
really-
did that Rick roll.
Ah, shit.
Oh shit, oh shit.
Lando!
Oh,
Lando!
No! What the fuck was that? My character was just like, yeah, no, launch myself. That works.
Oh god, how did
It's
we
in
get
the
that?
middle of the
Oh
air.
shit. This is a team thing.
Oh my god, I can't see. Hold on. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh my god.
Oh, Lando, you.
I'm better. I'm better. I got this. Don't worry.
Dude, I can't. I'm so disoriented.
Yay.
No.
Yeah, buddy, hold on.
Namu, please grab that.
Trying.
Wait, a
Oh, wait,
rain?
no, wrong person.
Thank you so much. Oh wait, I'm alive.
I'm not.
Oh, we're going down.
Oh, nope.
Take it.
I can't. I'm fucking. I can't control the character anymore.
Not again, Namu.
Oh my god.
We're keeping it on this side, Namu. I don't know what you're thinking there, too.
No, that's be on the left side.
Oh god.
Oh
Namu,
my
how
God.
much
I'm
stamina do
losing
you
stamina.
have?
I'm losing stamina. Oh, okay.
Oh, I missed. I hate this.
Are you grabbing my?
We'll kill him. We'll
Oh
kill him. I
fuck,
got this.
I missed again.
Logo, help.
I'm stuck. No.
Don't let the blind one kill you guys right now, guys. Oh fuck, we'll go copy. Thank you so much for the raid. I've been dying to get this map.
All
I
right,
gotta
Lando.
move. I gotta.
Wait, just
Let's go.
respawn fast. Just
go.
respawn fast.
I'm trying to.
Oh, what the hell? All right, bye.
It's okay. It's
Shit.
okay.
All right, hang on, I'm responding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely hanging. Can
Oh
confirm.
my
Who's
God,
hanging?
Yeah. Yep.
Maximum effort.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. I may have fucked up.
Please, please, please.
Yes.
You can
Oh,
still grab
wait,
it. You can still
what?
grab it.
What?
Yes. 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 Yes.
You gotta
yes,
take care of
yes,
Namu.
yes,
You gotta take
yes.
care of Namu. You just gotta reset it. Lando!
No, I'm let go.
Bring it. Yeah, okay. Bring it.
I am. Namu, I need your help.
Ow, I'm dead.
Why is it getting pulled out?
Go, go, go.
Okay. You got it. No, you hold on.
Ah!
There. There, we got it. Go.
Oh no.
Oh no. Misa's
on,
alive.
come
Misa's
on.
alive.
Come on, get it. Why are you still alive,
How are you
Moogle?
still alive?
How are you still alive?
Draw?
No,
No.
it's not a draw. No,
Oh,
no, no. It's not a draw. Come
How? Let me
on.
give you a follow.
No
What were you
one's the
playing?
winner.
Thank you for
Moogle,
the
come here. I'm gonna
raid.
look at my crown. Moogle, come here.
I still don't have my glasses on, so I can't see.
win!
I-
Jesus Christ. All right.
They were waiting for that.
Oh,
Still
man.
That was a
Game
funny
though.
game to end on.
I'm by myself now. But this one
I
too.
believe.
Fuck.
Why doesn't he?
There
Oh
we
my
go.
god.
I'm dead. I'm losing this. I'm done. No, I'm done.
Alrighty. Do enjoy your
Everyone go
rest.
for Lando.
Thank you for the raid again.
Yeah, I expect you both to try each other.
Okay, Emily, you can. Thanks for playing. Oh, Moogle's gone. Oops. Here, I won't
I
play.
want both of you to trebuchet.
Okay. Come on. Come on, Naomi, let's go.
I mean, we gotta get over here too.
I'll help you. Oh, okay. I was trying to help you.
I would rather use your ammunition. Hey, hey, hey! What do you think you is? What do you think you is?
Hiya. Oh. Mm.
Hey, Justin?
Oh.
Ooh.
Ammunition, thank you.
Got you. Oh, never mind.
Did you change the health again?
No, I did not.
How are you living 3 knockouts then? Cheater!
I'm not cheating.
Yes, you are!
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to help you.
Get in there. Be ammunition. So you can help.
Oh shit.
Help, I'm stuck. Hey.
I was trying.
Help my
I
aid!
was trying to send you over.
Well, I don't believe you're dead. No, get out of here. Scram! How are you still alive?
Oh,
Get ocean! Get in! How are you still alive? You're cheating!
More bombs, please.
oh.
Are you finally dead?
No, I'm not actually. I don't know why. I just don't think you're punching that hard, you know? I think you need to
I'm
punch
a
harder.
fucking gorilla! What do you mean?
I think you need to punch a little harder.
I'm fucking you in the joust me over here. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
I'm just like, I'm just gonna
Eat one
ease,
of those.
Lando's suffering.
Eat one of those. How? I knocked you out 8 times. Cheater. Mama,
Free for all now?
No, Mama, get rid of your cheating teammate. Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. Hide the body.
Body. The body.
Wait, should we change the game?
Nah, I got
Hey
this
Spartan, how are you?
I got that
Hey Monster,
unbeatable
can we
move.
have a shout out for Spartan here? How you doing, Spartan?
This game is goofy.
Is it actually 1 KO this time? I
No.
swear to God, if you get up, Kimchi. Oh my fucking God. Mama, your teammate's cheating. Kill them.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Namu,
How you
hold back your
and how you
cue
doing,
for me.
Spartan? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I think we should change the game. That's just so I know.
But Lando wants to play this.
Yeah, see, I'm better.
Hold on, why my controller just died? Keeps doing this again.
Wait, does this take all of us out? Or did it just
What?
take me out? Oh, fuck.
If you leave,
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know.
shit.
So sorry to hear that you're all sick, and I hope you feel better. Like, dang, everyone's getting sick, aren't they?
you can have it.
Wait. I think I can do
Cheater.
this.
You cheated.
You said I could have
I'm gonna
it.
do free for
You
all.
cheated.
Yeah, free for all,
You
free for all.
actually cheated. I gave you the ball when it was about to explode. How do you just eat an explosion?
No, it's just
Explain.
only one. If only one person is handling it, it doesn't explode.
What do you mean? I've seen it explode before. You just gotta charge it up, which is what I did.
Let's
You
see.
just slurped the fucking electric juice. I don't know what to tell you. I got money.
Except, and anyone in the chat can join in as well. Let me just.
I'm getting hungry.
Not sure if it's COVID. If it's COVID,
Bless you.
I'm not sure if it's COVID because I don't have a temperature. I don't think it's the temperature. It's more like the sense of taste.
The answer to the question is go take a COVID
And also,
test. That'd be too short.
Yeah, I feel like you
what
should
was
just
it?
take a COVID test every time you're
Fiction.
sick. Or feeling
Um,
sick.
Mama, I do not want to see a battle kitty. Thank you.
Oh, God.
You just had to say it.
Thank you,
You
Rose
just
Angel, for
had
the
to
follow. I
say it.
appreciate you.
I use
Welcome
reverse
to the
psychology. I actually
Patreon.
did want to see the battle
Oh,
kitty.
I was
Oh, shit, where am
not
I?
paying attention.
Is it still 1 HP?
No, it's not.
Okay. I was like, this is about to be the whole most
How are you doing? Just a
worst
little
thing
tired,
ever.
but I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
Catch me if you can.
Oh, man.
I'm over here.
What the f- I drop kicked, my
Gosh.
character was like, nah, jumping's easier.
Well.
Get him out of here!
No! Get up! Get up! Oh, nope, I'm dead.
Go on, joust. Jousting. Ow!
Yay.
Cheated!
Come on, let's go. Oh.
No. Ow! What the f was that? Boy, really executing me, why don't you? Why are you on her side? She's the cheater here.
No, I'm
It
not.
just got you. It just got you. I don't know what to say.
No. Gonna cook this one. Cooked it a little too much. It was overcooked. Ow! I burnt the frying pan.
You're just.
Oh,
Oh.
finally.
Out of here.
You went flying.
No.
Oh. No,
lose this one.
how?
Aw.
Better monkey, even with the dead person trying to kill me.
Oh. God damn it, my controller again.
Give me the controller. He's trying to stick a
Use
Yum, 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 yum,
keyboard.
yum, yum.
Oh,
I'm on
God.
fire!
Oh, God.
Ow! Not her! Oh me! Let me go! Oh, thank you for saving me. You just pulled out. You know, I think I gotta go. I think I gotta go. Ow! That was my nose! Where? Oh my! Leave me alone! No, square.
Don't say that!
Ow! Ow! There's a pointer.
Bully Lando out. I was trying to
Too
go
late, they already did.
for
Ow!
Dude. There's a banana you can slip out. I'm
Got the
sorry.
nyan chakus.
Why is
Ballsy.
it a 2v1 and you're in the free-for-all? No, not the pointer again! I'm getting flashback! I'm leaving. I don't want to be you. I'm leaving.
This bath towel is a little too sus for me, Namu. I don't need you to change.
I died! What the
Oh god.
It almost worked.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on, there's no holding on. It's a free for all.
No, you're not getting up there. No, stop him. We can't know the strat.
I'm gonna try to get Lando down here.
I'm dead.
He's dead, Namu.
Oh, is he dead?
Yeah.
I thought he was alive. Oh shit.
Gas rises, you know.
Oh fuck.
You can't RKO when you're the last player alive. That was a fucking banana. That's not what I meant to say.
Fucking banana. Lando.
It worked. It was strategic. Definitely not an accident. Hey, shovel.
Oh fuck. I missed that.
What?
Oh
What
my
you doing with that
god.
shovel, man?
Oh,
Oh!
Get out of here.
Swing and a miss. Again.
so if I just
How did
stay
you do
here.
that?
Oh my god, I can't stay here. Yeah,
It
no.
almost worked now, man. I'm gonna die from the gas, Kimchi. You have to move. You're inhaling gas. Oh! She's alive. If you touch the gas, I'd like to have you.
Oh
on your
my
deck.
god, oh my god.
Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
god.
Oh! Damn, I died. Didn't you know this is the one night in Namu?
What the frick?
I'm gonna forget I
What did I
read
hear?
that.
Ow, I fell. Help.
Have a lovely
Uh-oh.
lurk.
Leave. Oh. Oh. The jukes. Oh. Place him again. He's in a bathtub. We can't unfreeze. That's how that works.
Fuck. Why are you after me? There's another one. Oh, okay. Oh my god, it picked up the weapon that I dropped.
Oh no, stamina. Sorry.
I wasn't interested in that. I was just trying to execute you with the drop. Execution by dropkick, when? When would you like to start your execution, sir? That works.
Wait, what? How? Oh, fuck, I died again. Leo, thank you for the link.
Oh
Yes.
shit.
Get out of here!
No.
You're back.
Aha.
Too cracked.
Think they still love me? No, ain't that right?
How do you go over your head? I didn't know there was a possibility.
Bro,
Bath
no,
towel
no,
kitty.
I'm coming. Just know I'm coming for you. Just know I'm coming for you. Just know I'm coming for you.
We don't love you. We don't
I'll
love
live alone on the island.
An island?
Bro, what do you mean?
We
What
don't love
do you
you.
mean?
I thought you were still alive, Kimchi. I just saw your name tag. I was like, what the?
Oh sh!
You're done. You're done.
I'm oh wait, hold on, I'm coming.
Stop shooting my thigh.
Believe in me,
Steal
bro.
a
Just like I'm
sword.
beating you, Ryan. Come on now.
The noise. The noise is scary.
Wow,
My
what the
snipe. Oh, how did you do that?
what? My character decided that his arms were no longer gonna work.
Yeah.
He was
Damn,
just
we had
punching the
like
wall.
no chance here.
Maybe because you teamed up against me.
No.
Nah.
Can I just stand here? Can you stop?
No.
Hide the body.
That does not look right.
Oh my god.
Why does it look like my girl is going in for a kiss?
Is it going to what?
My girl looked like he was going in for a kiss.
No.
Gonna be gone for a bit. Yeah, I got you. See.
Oh jeez.
No, I wanted that. So mean.
Me?
I called dibs.
That wasn't meant to be.
You just chuck your hammer off the edge? No, okay.
No!
My monkey is got some business.
No! No!
There we go.
No!
I have business to attend, thank you.
No!
Number ring. Gonna pick up. Namu, ring. Namu.
Namu left.
Namu, I've been trying to reach you, but your car is still in warranty.
Shit.
Namu, that wasn't very nice. You know, I don't appreciate bomb threats here.
Hey, how you doing, Queen of the Hive? Welcome in. How are you?
Tactical.
Jumping over here.
You know, ice floats, right?
Wow!
If I play my cards right.
Oh, and thank you so much for the follow. I don't know why my alerts are not working. Shit.
So when I got out of the ice, my character wasn't
How are you,
responding
Queen
to
of the
my
Hive?
movements.
A likely story.
Oh shit.
Gotta go, I'm out. I'm out of here.
Oh no.
I got monkey business to attend to. Don't you ring?
Oh no.
Ring.
I have both of you on tabs. Hey, I appreciate that. It's going good. I mean, we're all just.
You could
chilling
have
and
both
whatnot.
of them on one tab with the multi.
Do you have this game, Queen of Hive? Hello?
Why is it not going up?
Oh wait, I'm out of stamina. Shit.
Climb, please? Oh, was I not pressing
Por
my...
favor. Was a
Why don't you attack each other? You're both on the ground.
This broken
Come here,
car.
Lando.
Hey, you're more than welcome to like. Wait, oh wait, unless you meant raid. You raided your fate. But you're again. You're more than welcome to like. Ow. Ah! Okay, hold on.
That was so close.
Oh no. No. I don't think I got this one.
Oh, fuck.
Yes.
I don't think I got this one. I don't think I got this one.
Climb, everybody, climb. You're good at that. You're a good thing.
Why are you not climbing?
I swear, if I.
I think
survive
Lando
this
won that one.
I...
Because I'm gonna be out of stamina soon. I don't know why I can't climb.
I'm gone.
Okay, there you go.
So may I suggest you don't come up?
No, Shell. No, it's all good, Queen.
Oh
Thank you
god.
for the raid for Kimchi.
Yeah,
You
thank
can
you. That's it.
Oh,
I'm done.
no!
Get in the safety hole.
God damn it!
I'm in the safety hole. Can't touch me now.
So you're a streamer as well. Let me give you a follow back as well.
Going
Brad.
down.
What are you up to, Brad?
Oh shit!
Hola,
Oh
¿cómo
shit!
estás?
Hold on. Oh!
Oh,
No!
we're both
Oh,
AFK.
oh, okay. Yeah,
that
we
weird?
were.
Get
I got like. I'm having a couple though. I need caffeine before.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't
died.
get yourself some like good good rest,
see.
some good caffeine. What you
Just
guys
chilling
do?
with your brother?
No, not that clip. No.
What clip?
No,
Wait,
no, no, no,
wait.
no.
What clip was
Wait,
it?
where's? Oh no! Oh no! Shit!
It was the clip where he bullied me when he was the bishop.
Oh.
Kenji, stop bullying me!
Remember, I tried to help. I took the bomb away, but it missed.
Ah!
Are you shooting
Here,
animals in
let's
the
go.
water?
Let's
Let's go.
Cheating! Come on, I think we know what we have to do. Come on, I think we know.
Bully Kimchi. Bully Kimchi.
Funny.
Bully.
No,
Bully.
it's a. That's what you get. That's what you
It's nice
get.
on the bug. Exactly. She camped and she. Oh God.
She
What
was
is
the
this?
puncher again!
Ah!
It's so funny.
That's out too! Oh!
It's so wrong. It's so bad.
Oh my God. Wait, hold on.
He's so creepy!
Hey, Lando.
I can't.
Lando, where'd you
I could
go?
cry. This is too
Lando,
bad.
where'd you go?
Oh, creepy.
I can't breathe anymore. Woo, that was funny.
Oh, just for you. No, don't pick it up on your way here. Yes. Climb. Get to safety, monkey. It's your way.
Here's my phone now. Oh, this is nice, bro. You should have seen the clip that Moogle had.
No.
Because it was definitely stuck in a
Oh no. The one where he plundered me?
No.
Oh.
Someone plundered, what was it?
Listen.
Oh no, I'm gone.
What's the real party?
Hey.
Come on.
Namu's gonna win this.
Am I?
No.
Oh shit! Nope, I don't think I am.
I'm out of stamina. I've drowned.
Oh my.
Take a
Oh
quick
no, I
peek.
did.
I got
I
it.
drowned
Nice.
first. I didn't have any stamina. I used it out trying to kill you.
Oh,
Nigga, what you got
nice
on? What
kick.
you got on?
That koala is making it.
Look what I found.
Right? Oh, you
Oh shit.
Who knows how to cook?
I changed the like shape of my webcam, so now I'm more
Hi,
horizontal.
Lando. Ah, shit!
I kind of like it.
Oh, wow. Good toss.
Thanks.
Good toss. Good toss.
Don't toss myself. Ah!
Why?
Not again! No! Not again! No! Give me your word! Save me!
I can't. This is too
Oh,
funny.
God.
I'm gonna drown. Yes, high tide saved me.
Shit. Oh, come on! Oh, come on. Oh! Ah! Nope, I'm dead. Sad.
Oh, wow! Put me down!
Okay. Oh! Oh!
Yes!
Oh!
Namu,
Wake up! Wake up!
thank
Wake
you.
up! Wake up! Oh fuck!
Yes! Thank you, Namu. There
Damn,
you
I missed this.
No! Ah!
Thank you, Namu.
Oh well, Misa had two
My
wins
glasses! Where
anyways.
my glasses go?
Stop bugging around and what the Yo, ballsy!
Keep your head above the water, you
To honor Namu, I gotta do that.
Namu!
What?
Ballsy's clip!
I want to try and keep my shades this time. Probably looking cool at the end. Namu, I would prefer if you keep that racket away from me!
To, like, use this thing.
Ow!
There you go.
Use a game. Oh fuck.
Yeah, none of that. Oh shit.
Shh, now I'm being sneaky.
Fuck my life.
Out here.
Oh, I'm hella
It's
dead.
for
What?
birds, not for monkeys. Gotta go.
I'm hella dead. I'm so dead. No, I'm not. I did bad. Well, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Welcome to the Kimchi crew.
Gotta go.
Queen
Gotta
of
go.
Thieves
Gotta go.
underscore is
Oh,
now
let's see.
following.
Direct. Oh yeah. Oh. Oh, hit it. Oh.
Hold it, I'm holding both of you guys. That would have been so funny.
Shadowbox. Shadowbox.
Ah! No! Ah!
Ow! 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 Put me down! Ow!
Wait, how do I get out of here? Yeah, get out.
He had to hold it not for
I'm
his
stuck.
dear life.
Oh. Ah!
For avoiding Namu's. What? Oh my god.
Ah!
No, I'm just gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. No, I'm gonna kill you. Beat you up. Beat you up. Beat you up. Beat you up. Beat
Yeah.
you up. Beat you up.
How did
beat you
that
up,
not knock
You
someone
up.
out?
Beat you out.
Oh no, that got me down. Shit.
He's got no hands. Learn that from
How
Uncle
did I
Joe.
lose 4 in a row?
I'm just gonna. I gotta go.
Can you not hit me?
Go.
Namu.
Thank you.
I wanted you to like a nice timed photo where I just like,
Headbutt me. Lando, you look so sad.
Yeah, because I'm getting double teamed. I hate this map so much. It doesn't let me drop kick. Every time I've drop kicked on this map, I have died. I have
it's not
one
because of
successful.
like the map. It's
No,
you.
it's definitely because of the map. No, it's the map. No, I fully agree that it's the map. Oh, what the
Wow.
fuck? That was the worst blur I've ever seen. Ow! How you drop kick? See, the map hates me. It doesn't like I can't do that. I'll die. I'm so scared. Just chuck a crossbow. You just chuck a crossbow at me, sir? Oh, please. Okay. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
No! Oh fuck, that was strong.
Juiced up
Damn.
gorilla got this.
Here, have a banana.
Why do I respawn by myself? Honestly, this is a good thing. Never mind, I like this. Ooh, the gods have handed me spinach. I gotta go.
I can't even look up right now.
Oh, oh my god. Here, have a banana.
No. Ah, shit.
No, my food.
This is horrible plane service. I'd like to speak to the manager. Oh god.
No movies, no snacks.
Have a lovely
Thank you
lurk.
for the likes and I appreciate you. You're playing Val, aren't you?
I'll try to
That
appreciate
caps?
them.
That caps? You're playing Val. Here, have a banana.
No. I don't know how many buttons I hit. Next time I'm just gonna smack the crap out of my keyboard.
No, I was gonna play Palia actually.
You got that. I'm
Oh my god.
Woo! Don't worry, I'll balance out the weight, guys.
Oh!
You have a shovel?
That backhand.
I'm gonna save you.
Oh
You know, I
fuck.
can't really control where this thing goes, so I might kill you. It's not to my control.
Oh, you knocked me out.
Ah!
Why are you both going after me? There's a perfectly good other person you could kill.
Oh shit. Ah! god.
No!
And I'm a kid.
You'll never get. Oh fuck! Oh no!
Oh, nice!
Have a
I think so. We
banana.
gotta team up to stop the greater evil. I'll let you win if you let me RKO him.
Okay.
What?
Bring him over here. I have a shovel. Oh fuck! Never mind. I don't have a shovel.
Here,
I
Mama,
don't have
Mama,
a
come
shovel.
here. We're RKOing. I will RKO you out of nowhere. Oh! I got this, Kimchi. I believe. I believe.
What?
Get him! Drop the shovel. Oh, mine. That works. Then, yeah, give me a banana.
Yay! Oh, thanks. I slipped on it last second. I heard it.
Oh, come on! Right
Hey,
the kick.
okay, ready?
I know, Queen. Rip on me. Right on the noggin.
Are we going down together? Wait, come here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hug.
you know.
Okay, bye. What?
I don't know what
Win that.
Oh, hell no. Hell no!
Oh, I wanted to do it again. No!
Get out of
No,
here!
I don't actually believe in Kimchi's abilities to win.
Oh, shit.
What? You don't
He's gonna-
believe in my abilities to win? Did you just say you don't believe that I'll win?
Yeah, he said that.
No, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
shit! I pulled the Lando.
You drop kicked off the edge?
Yeah, I did. Ah.
No, stop it. There's a greater evil here. Oh!
You don't believe in what, Lando?
Aw.
What was that?
Wow.
I give you a banana. Be happy.
How could you say such words to me?
No, I'm trying to whisper in your ear.
I don't want to hug.
No, I was trying to whisper in your ear about your Kazakhstan award.
I was trying to go after you. I was trying to headbutt you.
It looks like I tripped while you were chasing me.
Not this one. I
My turn is
always
coming.
lose
I'm coming
this
out,
one.
and I'm coming out with my towels on.
Oh my god.
Ah! No plungers, please and thank you. I'm traumatizing. Are we all going? No, you guys did the share one here. No, you can have the knife if you leave me be.
Oh, I'll take the plunger.
No, no plungers, please. Help! Ah!
Come over here.
Save me, mother, please! There's a maniac in a bathtub with a plunger! Help!
Gotta plunge the shit out.
Wait, what? Don't say that.
I didn't consent to a colonoscopy.
What a bad hand it does. Anything, to be honest. Oh shit.
There, I got it.
Not good. Oh, thank you. Okay. Ow,
Oh.
ow. I'm gonna freeze. It was all a lie. Ah! Alright, I'll make it. I'm gonna go over.
Ah!
I believe. Just gonna roast me marshmallow.
Come here, Namu. Come here, Namu.
You're burning yourself.
It's fine.
From that,
It's fine.
roast him a marshmallow. No, I was trying to roast my marshmallow, man. Why you bring a bomb over here? I was just peacefully roasting my marshmallow, and man comes over here with a fully lit bomb. What the man?
Oh shit. No.
Oh, like the marshmallow?
Oh.
Okay, hold on.
No, no, no,
Here you
no,
go,
no, no,
Lando.
no, no, no.
Here's your marshmallow.
No.
Here's your
Oh.
marshmallow.
Here, you can have that one. This one.
Okay.
No, I don't
Oh,
want.
no. I was giving it to you.
I want this one.
Oh,
This one
okay.
tastes better.
Wait.
It was rubbed in the dirt.
This one's rubbed in the dirt, too.
Yeah, but it has the other one that wasn't rubbed in. You set yourself on fire. It was cold over there.
Oh, wake up, little stupid.
You have that.
Wait, did my shout out not go? My bad. Or it did. I don't know. Whatever. You get another shout out.
I get a sausage now? Let's go.
Easy, hey, how's it
got
going?
a
I've officially been caffeinated. Oh, hell yeah.
You can get
Oh.
anything.
Glad to see you have been
Someone
caffeinated.
redeemed to
How you
pick your
doing?
agent.
Sen, thank you so much for the
Pick my
lurk.
agent. Wait, I'm
How you
not
doing,
playing
DZ?
Val.
Brimstone.
Ow, 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 ow.
I know you mean smokes, and you're probably all smokes team.
I feel like I need. Oh,
If he's
God.
See a
taking,
fun game. Wait, DZ, do you have
I'll,
this game?
I'll
He's
give it
taken,
back to you.
And also, can we, if any of my mods here,
I
can
only
shout
know all the
for
smokes
DZ?
names. I don't remember the other ones.
You know Killjoy.
No, I didn't until right now.
Oh, fuck. That was to my
Assist.
face.
No, I can't. I gave you a log. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You have this game? No shout outs? No, I'm gonna definitely give you a shout out.
Stop threatening me with bombs.
I
I'm
love-
just trying to contact you because of the
No, Kimchi, no, no.
Oh! Oh god, oh jeez, oh god.
I see my mother.
My head's on
get
fire! Wait, what? Not my child, not my child, not my child. You can't take my child away from me.
Oh shit. No!
And I'm still good.
Oh, wow, right into the fish tank. Also, let me get a shout out here to-
There's more marshmallow here if you want marshmallow.
Fire's going out, so I don't want to be over there.
Oh. Mother sacrifices. Mother sacrifices. Mother sacrifices.
Jesus.
Where did you go?
Oh, I'm alive.
Oh.
Hey. Child, you must eat your food.
Yeah, okay, here we go. There we go.
You're burning yourself?
It was the last resort. It was the last resort, guys. It was the last resort.
Fire.
We're doing
And DZ and also Queen, if you want to join in, you guys are more than welcome too.
No, there's a bomb there, man. No, I'm dead.
Yay, I win.
I down, oh hell yeah.
My
How
poor
are you still
child.
alive? I roasted you over the fire.
It's what
you
kept
can
me
find my
alive.
Steam code on the chat. Just exclamation point Steam. And if you guys want to use a voice chat, we're using FatalKimchi's Discord. Ah shit, I wasn't even paying attention. Just let me know when you guys got my oh wait, you're on Xbox? Okay. Hey Thor, how's it going? Can only lurk right now, but I'm in here. Hey, appreciate for the lurk, Thor.
Mom, I don't like this taser treatment. I didn't ask for electrotherapy.
I wonder if that bomb would also explode. Nope.
No. Skylight.
And Thor, you can give yourself a shout out if you like.
Yeah.
You're like perfectly dodging them.
And also, Kimchi, we got a couple people joining in.
Okay.
I think this is the last one, anyways, for the free for all. Oh no, please.
Wait.
Help! My mom's punishing me with a taser.
CPA.
It's because you wouldn't eat your marshmallows.
Thank you, Mama. No! down. Put me down.
Oh no.
I've got a monkey business to go to, Mom. I got a job now. Ah! Mom, how's your car extended warranty doing?
Oh!
Yeah.
Help, I'm trying to go straight and he's not going straight. Help! No, please, no,
Aw, I tried to help you.
no, Mom, no, I'm not going to the birthday party.
What's that here after the game? Yeah, I got you.
I don't want to go to the birthday party. It's boring. It's Emmy's.
Oh, if I had the cookie.
I'm too cold.
It's chilly. It's a little chilly.
I already lit it. Oh, I already lit it. Nami, it's lit. Nami, it's lit.
Damn!
Oh, I'm stuck. Oh. Everything's okay. We're good.
Give me that.
There you go. Mom, never
Oh,
let me
boy.
play with knives.
Oh, you're still alive.
My son! My son! How dare you?
No! No!
Oh shit.
Oh fuck! Oh!
Bye.
I'm dead.
I'll be
Fucking
opening on
missed.
Discord. Gotcha. Again, it's not gonna be my Discord. We will be using. We're using FatalKimchi.
Oh no, I'm probably gonna get off soon. I think I have to bake
really?
cupcake. Yeah, I have to make cupcakes.
Oh. Okay, that's fine. Oh god. Well,
I can't even see
hi
you guys.
Lando.
Hi, hello. So you see my eyes kind of got like numb. I can't see.
Oh wait, let's go out with a bang.
No,
Oh,
I think we need to team up against the Greater Eagle here. It's your cards are sending once. Yeah!
Oh shit. Ah! Fuck! Ah, so low. Oh boy.
Look how strong I am. I'm lifting a 1,000-ton hammer. I kind of asked him. Oh. Why did you die? What happened? Where are you? All right. I'm not from here.
Somewhere.
Yeah, but I do.
Explosion go burr. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
My toy hammer.
Off!
Oh, my hammer!
Oh, that was you, not me.
Let me down.
let's go
Put
for
me
a
down.
swim.
Let me down. Put me
Let's
down.
go for a swim.
I'm letting Nama win. Dang it.
Are you okay?
It didn't unfreeze. Fuck. No, I want it. No, I want it. Give it here.
Mm.
No, I don't want you. I want it.
Oh!
No! No! Not the fire! No!
It's the fire. Oh my god, Kimchi.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what's up?
Oh shit.
I can't
That's
stop.
the shitty part. Bonfire. While being tasered.
I can't.
Get her ammo.
That's too
You got
much.
this. Yeah, you got this.
Oh
Get
no.
Ninja to fire you.
We're roasting kimchi?
Oh!
Yeah, we're making kimchi?
Roasted kimchi?
Yeah. How good do you think that would taste?
Oh god, wake up. Wake up, stupid.
Hey, don't come over here! This is my area! I was roasting peaceful roasting a hot dog!
Where is it? Can I have some?
I kind of threw it at you.
Oh!
There's a weird pull there.
Do-do-do,
How are you missing?
Oh shoot. Wake up, wake up.
Oh,
How
shit.
have we been alive for so long?
I have no idea.
Because none of us can knock out the other ones and actually throw them.
What?
Put him in the fire. Oh, okay.
No!
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No! No!
Yeah! Go away, go away, go away. Oh, fuck.
Yes,
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my
smacking
god.
of the keyboard worked. There you go. I tapped out. No, I tapped out. No.
No!
Hey, Lynn.
No!
No, that's
Damn it.
Lando's. Yeah.
How you doing?
The feet.
I tapped out like 8 times.
Did you really?
Yes, I smacked the shit out of the keyboard and I hit the tap up button.
I have to say, I'm playing way much better. Oh. I'm biting your arm. Why am I biting your arm?
He's in
Wait,
agony.
wait, how do you go to the lobby? Ah,
We have to leave.
yeah. Oh, we have to leave?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that
we
was
need to
that was
make
my
it.
last one.
Okay.
So you can make the
I
lobby.
think that might be mine as well, because my friend should be joining it up. We
I'll
got Flame
just,
coming over.
I'll keep it going along because Queen
Oi.
and Daisy wants to play, so that's what I'll do.
Okay. Thank you guys for playing with me.
Yeah. I
I put them in here. Val the Bee, thank you so much for joining the Discord.
Bye.
Bye. Have fun today, Lando.
Queen, that's okay. Hold on, I'm gonna.
I don't know. You guys might want to go to yours, so it'd be easier.
Yeah, let me verify Queen really quick.
All right. See you guys. Thanks for playing
There
with
we
me.
go. Yep.
Oh my goodness. I'm reading all the Discord stuff. If you guys want to join my Discord, you can. Excuse me. Too much laughing. So much laughing. This is great. So good. I hope you guys enjoyed. We are playing Outlast Trials tomorrow. Namu said he was gonna play too, so if Namu plays, then we're probably gonna do Omega Trials. Bread said that he was gonna play too, but I think he's still on vacation, so I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be able to play or not. And I think that leaves the one spot open. So yeah. But anyways, what have you guys been up to? We can chat for just a little bit. Maybe like a few minutes. We should do some Reddit reads. It's been a minute since we did that. Let me go back to my other... You guys ready for this? Wait, let me find it. Where is it? What the heck? Oh, I think I laughed so much, my neck hurts. I don't know how that happened, but... yeah. Where is it? What the hell? I don't see it. It's gone. Oh, this one. My bad. Okay. Am I the asshole for refusing that my mother-in-law be allowed to have unsupervised time with my son after drinking my gender reveal? Wait, what? After almost 2 years of trying, my husband and I are finally pregnant. Today we got the results of my NIPT, which includes gender results. He was excited and told his mom. Later in the day, they were on the phone call together, and after being told not to say it, as I didn't know yet, and was waiting for a gender reveal, she shouted, "What? I told you that we were having a boy." Aww, I'm heartbroken. I wanted to wait and share the moment with my parents and grandparents at a small gender reveal thing, where I get to cut a cake, and it was ruined. She doesn't even understand that she did wrong and is calling us sensitive for being upset. This has destroyed me. I'm returning the shirt I bought for the gender reveal, and I don't want her to be part of my son's life. Okay, this is like a little extreme. Like, sure, things got ruined for you, but also relax. Like, it's not that serious, I think. Excuse me. Give me 1 second. I had to drink water. I know that my husband would never allow her to be cut off, so I told him I'll compromise and she can be part of our son's life, but I'll never want her alone with him. If she can't listen to one simple instruction, what makes you think she'll listen to our parenting choices? He's pissed about this, and it caused a massive fight. He says, "Look how I turned out, I'm fine." To me, while he may be alive, it's been over 20 years since she had a baby. She is emotionally abusive, and doctor shopped to have him placed on several unnecessary medications. Also, this is the same woman who had called the cops on him for stupid reasons, like asking what college degree she had and telling the cops he threatened to unalive her. Same thing for asking for her Wi-Fi password and thinks baby wearing is SA. What? Am I the asshole? I mean, this family seems stable and wonderful and not toxic at all. CM, what's up? You missed the part where we did party animals. We're doing random Reddit reads right now. I should change to just chatting. How's your day been? Are you actually streaming today? Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. Let me give you a shout out. I'm hungover as fuck. Oh god. How's hanging out with your friends? Do you have a good time?
Oh, he's over here. Nice, nice. We won! We won!
Oh my god. That was
Let's
intense.
go! Let's go!
Dude,
That was so intense.
I went off.
I still did the
I
best.
went
It was all
off.
me. It was all me.
No, it wasn't.
Look at the score.
Look at the score. Oh my god, that is hilarious. A baby will definitely fix all of this. Oh shit. This is crazy. What's next? Am I the asshole for not telling my new partner about having a vasectomy? I mean... Some background. I-36M was married for 8 years, have 1 kid. They were born. I got a vasectomy 4 years ago because not interested in more children. Hope you're having a great day so far. I am. I'm chilling. I'm probably only gonna stream for like another 30, maybe. When we started dating and the kid conversation came up, I was very clear about not wanting any more children, and that will not change. I didn't bring up my vasectomy at that point, partly because I didn't think it mattered, and partly because I didn't think it was their business that early on. I mean, I guess, but when it does come up, then you'd have to like for sure let them know. Like if they're like, "Oh, I do want a kid," because then again, like, oh, recent ex, because she's 33. If she wants a kid, you know what I mean? That would have to align. To this week, she told me she was pregnant. At this point, I said the child is unlikely mine and I will not have any involvement in this until a paternity test is done. My reasoning for this is she's supposedly on birth control and I, in theory, should be sterile. Sterile? So the odds seem pretty astronomical to me. This obviously turned into a fight. She accused me of being dishonest with her, which I guess a lie of omission isn't being completely honest. Am I the asshole? Get a sperm count test done and get a paternity test. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like, I think you would need a sperm count for sure. Pretty sure. Next. Am I the asshole for not telling my wife the real reason why I married her? What? This is wild. I just saw my previous post. Hold on. I just saw my previous post this morning and was surprised and a little overwhelmed by the amount of responses I received. Nonetheless, I do think it is appropriate to provide a quick update. I had time to do some self-reflection over the past few days. The real reason? I know, fucking crazy. Kind of cringe. That's just, that's a lot. Very loaded. I had time to do some self-reflection over the past few days, and my conclusion is that I am probably the luckiest man in the world to have such a fantastic wife and wonderful children. Rest assured that I have no intention of my wife ever finding out the real reason why I decided to marry her. Are you... Did you guys see that? What? This is wild. Also, I'm very confident that my two friends won't say anything to my wife. I failed to mention it earlier, but I also have some ammunition on Michael's marriage. And given that Wilson is in couples therapy, I'm highly doubtful he'd say anything. This dude is just out here, just saying shit. Oh my god. Even without this, I can't imagine either of them overstepping such a boundary. I'm shocked right now. I'm so shocked. I'm sure many of you are wondering how they knew in the first place. The reason they knew was because, okay, I need to go back to his original post. Hold on. I don't know why. Okay, wait. Oh, I need to click on this. Where's the original post? Probably way down here. Yeah, this one. About 14 years ago, I, 42M today, got my MEng degree, but was struggling to find work. I did eventually land a job working for a medium-sized company, but even then I was still struggling financially, as I owed so much debt and student loans and lived in a pretty expensive city. I was admittedly at a pretty low point in my life. I'm sure many people can relate to the feeling that you've done so much schoolwork and then don't have much to show for it. I did, however, build a good relationship with my boss, as in my mind this was the easiest way to earn promotions and in turn a high income. Eventually I met my boss's family. One thing that quickly became obvious was that his daughter liked me a lot. I didn't think too much of it at the time because I thought mixing my professional and personal lives would be a bad idea. Also, I did not reciprocate her feelings in any way. Though for obvious reasons, I was exceptionally polite to her at every interaction. Long story short, my boss's wife found out and I started getting invited to my boss's house pretty regularly for things like dinners, etc. Throughout all of these, my boss and his wife would somehow always steer conversations in ways that led me to talking to Rose or would leave the room for some reason or another, just leaving the two of us together. Later, my boss would even tell me things like how I felt like family and he'd be happy to recommend me to higher positions, etc. Since his wife and daughter are so fond of me, needless to say, I started talking more to Rose and within weeks I got a promotion. Oh my. This is fucked up. This is fucked up. While I admit to not feeling much of a romantic connection with Rose, I did put a lot of effort into fostering that relationship, and she was happy with the attention I was giving her. After a few months of this, we were married. Few months? Bruh. If you don't at least give it like a year or two, please. Well, how long did they know each other though, I guess is what I want to ask. Oh my god. As you can imagine, my career really took off then. However, I did leave the company roughly 2 years after getting married with the recommendations I was able to get from my former boss, father-in-law, to several other people he introduced me to. I was able to secure a good position elsewhere. Today, I can happily say that after being married for 12 years and having 3 children together, there is no other woman I'd rather spend my life with, because I feel like this. I've always felt that my primary motivator for getting married to Rose is no longer relevant. Well then, I guess people get married for other reasons too. Like this one, like yeah, it sucked, but he must have actually liked her too though, right? Like there's no way he would just do, oh, I don't know. I don't know him. Who took my 3rd place? I crave blood. You're here and you are choosing violence. I appreciate you, Meow. Well, it worked out 12 years. Yeah. So then I'm thinking maybe he just like didn't have that much of a drive to be in a relationship to begin with. Because it kind of sounds like that.
Explosion! Why is that?
Why is that?
Am I supposed to run?
Oh!
Oh
That
my
is
fucking
terrifying.
God. Terry! Why you do this to me, man? Oh, I'm too gay for this shit.
Meow, the stuff that comes out of your mouth sometimes is so fucking funny. Meow, I had so much fun playing random ass games with you last night. I was giggling my ass off. Jeez. Thank you for that. I had a good night. Yeah, no, it worked out, so. And he's saying there's no other woman I'd rather spend my life with. He probably just did. There's people out there who just don't really care to have relationships, right? Like, they're just like, okay, like, sure, you're a person. I'll be with you. Or, like nothing, like, some relationships don't have to be that deep if they're not interested in that, right? And, like, people get married for different reasons. I'm not trying to justify that he's not an asshole for this, but it is very strange. Happy to serve. It's very bizarre. This is basically like how people would marry to gain power or to keep to join families. Like this is what it feels like. I had lunch with 2 of my longtime friends, Michael and Wilson, a few days ago. We haven't seen each other in about a year, so it's a nice opportunity to catch up. I like to add that Michael and Wilson are both familiar with my situation as we were in regular contact back then. At one point in the conversation, Michael asked if Rose ever found out the real reason why I decided to marry her. I told him of course not, and that her finding out would be needlessly painful for her. Wilson agreed with Michael, saying things like honesty and transparency were the main things he and his wife picked up from couples therapy, and that would be better long term if Rose found out. I reaffirmed them that Rose not knowing would be best for our family, and the conversation largely ended there. That being said, I have started to think more about what they've said and do feel a little guilty. If you feel guilty, you should say it. And yeah, it would probably ruin things for you, but she probably also knew. Like, there's no fucking way that she didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, part of it is like, yeah, I kind of liked you, but I also like saw that I could do all these other things too. Like, whether asshole or not the asshole, give Michael and Wilson the nuclear key codes to detonate your marriage was not the smartest move you ever did. He also told Reddit there are several details in this thing that would instantly out him to anyone familiar with the situation. That's very true. At some point, Michael or Wilson will give him a call super loud on speakerphone like, hey, are you still with that wife? Fears that only married because they want a promotion with 30 days. Oh my god. Please don't ever tell her. Oh god. I don't intend to. Don't ever tell her. It's probably been in the back of her mind the whole time. That's what I was thinking. I'm sure someone in the past might have tried to use her that way. My mom didn't love my dad. She married him to get away from her controlling family and to move to the US. They've been married for 50 years now and they love each other. She has told me the truth, suspects my dad knows, but will never tell him. I know they would each sacrifice their lives for each other. It's a lie, but an acceptable one, and you're the asshole for marrying her for profit, but never let her know. Focus on the now. Yeah, I think that's what matters. I've got to get some more rest. Yeah, drink plenty of water. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Hopefully you get to catch your stream later. We'll see. I'll be at Dave & Buster's, so. I'm glad you got away from your dad's company. That probably reassured her somewhat. The two of you have built a beautiful life. Don't mess it up over two friends you see once a year. Focus on the now. Yeah, focus on the now, honestly. I don't know what to do anymore because my person isn't my person anymore. I, 31F, just settled with 30 SO of 1.5 year. Okay, sorry. Just settled. Okay. Moved in together after dating for almost a year and we made a beautiful home, happy and hopeful, and was starting to look forward to this new life together. Sweet dreams. Meow. So nice. However, in the past 4 months of our 6-month live-in together, significant other lost his job and had a fall through with his best friend. His father back home has been feeling sick and is hospitalized now for about a week. It has been a terrible 4 months for him. I've been kind, understanding, and patient, took over the finances, rent, bills, groceries. You want me to lose my glasses while I'm trying to fucking read? Oh my god. I know you miss party animals. We've moved on. I can't read, meow. Oh my god, I have to go so close to my fucking screen in order to fucking read these. CM, go to sleep. Thank you for the cookies. I love cookies. You've moved on. I've moved on to other things. Yeah, we're just reading Reddit until like 1. I know I'm cutting my stream short, but I got shit to do, guys. I gotta bake some stuff. Okay. SFU. Oh wait. Took over finances, rent, bills, groceries. I have my job, and we are lucky it has been able to sustain us. We weren't prepared for crazy things to happen, but who plans for bad things to happen to them? This is life. SF feels and acts like life just came for him. Things aren't going well just for him. Shit sucks just for him. I can't explain it, but he's acting like we aren't in this together. I feel like when people feel like that, they need constant reassurance because they're not used to this, right? So if you're in a relationship and you're not used to being in a team, it's gonna take time to readjust, and it will feel, because you're the only person in your head, it will feel like things are just so bad for yourself. And that's okay. But at a point, you have to like snap out of it and be like, oh, okay, like let me actually lean on you. I feel left out as he isn't. So like, in this situation, I understand feeling left out, but that's when you communicate that you are feeling left out and that you want to tackle this on together. As he isn't acting like I am part of his life now and that our life together and this is our problem together. Yes, it is him who is going through this, but I'm here with him. I won't feel exactly how shitty this entire thing is like him, but I'm still here and do feel shitty too. This affects both of us. Yeah, you just need to learn how to fucking be able to comfort people, bro. Not everything is about you, and then you have to let them, or have them realize that too, eventually, that not everything's also just about them. He has been trying to get a job, but hasn't yet, and it's only been a few months, but I am handling it and not pushing him. And I would rather he doesn't get a job because of all the emotional toil. Oh my god, I don't have my glasses, so I'm like rereading everything he is going through with father and friend. I would rather he relaxes and takes time out, but no, it is like he's by himself. I am trying. Sometimes Reddit comes with the most weirdest shit posted. I know, I love it. It's my drama. I don't typically read, but I'll read these short stories, you know? At first I thought we just started our lives together and people take time to adjust to sharing their good and especially their bad with another, but this is on another level of I don't want to share. It's only been a few months and I wouldn't have picked on it so fast if it was just an emotional barrier on his end, like, oh, he will open up to you soon, stand by him, and all. No. This guy is literally, then you have to weigh out whether you think it's gonna be worth it or not to be there. Like, at the end of the day, you guys are there together and you have to think about that. It's not just like thinking of this is how it is right now. Like, time passes and people change and you have to make the effort to get to know each other on different levels through those changes. Like, I'm never gonna be the same person I was, right? Like yesterday or whatever. I could be hella fucking nice and then the next day be rude as shit. And you have to learn how to deal with all of those things. Just kidding, I'm always rude, aren't I? Where am I? No, this guy is literally acting like he still lives alone or sometimes we are just roommates. I have to come home and ask how father is doing and what was the update on the procedure. Mother told us that... Mother? Oh my god. This is long. Another thing is, like, depending on how people handle these situations... I'm not reading the rest. Depending on how people handle these situations, it can do a flip, right? So sometimes if something bad happens to me, like, I could act out. And in acting out, like, either I'll be like not trying to talk, right? Or I could lash out quickly. Like, I feel like those things you need to discuss with your partner, because it's like, okay, when I get angry, these are the things that I've noticed that happen. And so then be like, okay, well, how do you want me to handle that? Like, if I'm sad, sometimes I don't want to talk about it and I just want, like, to cuddle or to, like, relax or something like that. We have to think about all those things. Sometimes, like, I just need a break. I get overstimulated and I just need a breather. I think we're gonna end it here. Let's see. Who are we raiding out to? Who do we want to raid out to? I think Namu's still streaming. I haven't raided out to him in a while. I think Sin's also streaming. Oh, she's streaming Minecraft. Cutie Q is also streaming. I'm gonna raid out to Cutie Q. But I appreciate appreciate you guys so much. I had such a great time today. I'm sorry I cut it an hour short. I did stream for a very long time yesterday as well, so you guys can check out the VOD if you want to. I see Meows playing with Namu. I love that. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. I love you guys so much. I'm so thankful to have you guys. No, it's completely understandable. Okay, thanks so much. Yeah. I hope you have it amazing with them kids. Oh yeah. I'll be back online tonight for a scary movie night. We're gonna be watching Remember. So I'm looking forward to that. And then tomorrow we're gonna do Outlast Trials. So I'll see you guys. Bye. Take care, everyone. Take it easy. Love y'all. Thank you for the raid, Queen of the Hive. I appreciate it. Thank you, my lovely mods, for being here. I don't thank you guys enough. I really don't. Thank you for joining the Kimchi crew, everyone. Oh my god, Queen of the Hive. Rogue Angel, thank you. Clef and Style. I appreciate you guys. Later.